Hey, let's get these, money. I was gonna say something was gonna be crazy. Anyways, what is up, peoples? We are back, and I'm back, and very happy, to be back. Um, so because of how my schedule is tuned, I will be continuing with the Saturday post. Because I only have two classes. I only have one class on in person. That's on a Tuesday and Thursday. So you will still be getting the Saturday post from me, in between the times of I'm gonna say between 1 and 5 o'clock. I'm not gonna say 1 to 3 because I was gonna say 1 to 3 o'clock, between 1 and 3 o'clock, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say between 1 and 5 o'clock. I feel like that's more of an accurate time period, right? So let's get straight into it. We got the Storm versus Fire. There was this chick Winterburn, right, in the first quarter. It was straight El Fuego. She was El Fuego, man. She tied. So the Storm and the Fire went up 26-16 in the first quarter, right? She scored 60. She tied the Storm's point totals. She scored 16 as well. She nearly outscored a team by herself in that first quarter, right? And um and then throughout the game, right? So she did have a great game, right? She had anytime you can score over 10 points, this is a good game. She kind of slowed down a little bit in the second half, in the second quarter, in the second half, right? But in terms of the game, though, it would always be a situation of the Fire going up going up, then the Storm bringing it back in, going back up, the Fire going back up, Storm bringing it right back. And that's the thing with the second quarter. The Storm brought the lead right back down. It was a real close game. Second, a little late run by Fire, brings back up to the double digits at 48-36 and a half, right? Third quarter, same situation. They came right back down, right? They came, the Storm would bring the lead right back down, right? Then, but the Fire, again, would bring the lead right back up. Storm come out once again and bring the lead back down to single digits. And this time, and there was a couple of times where it was a one score game, and it's the same thing that happened in the fourth quarter. It goes down to the wire. Letitia Heidemann fading away three, nothing but nets. And like, and there's a time period where Dominique Malonga, who by all means, she was having a bad game. She was like 3 of 15, 9 points, 11 rebounds. She's having a pretty bad game, right? But there was a time period where she just wasn't on the court. And I'm like, that's your star player. That's your highest scoring. That's the person that scores the most for you. That's far and away your best player as of right now. And she's not on the court. And I'm like, that's weird. Because, like, why is she not on the court? Yeah, she wasn't on the court for, like, the last minute 30. But I'm like, why would she not be on the floor now, though? You know what I mean? Like, I just found it really weird. But the Fire did end up holding on to win 84-82, though. The Storm, they're not that good a team, right? They're a really young team, they're a bad team. Let me say this. For all intents and purposes, they're a bad team. That doesn't mean that, they don't fight, though. They still fight. And that's really all you can really say. Fever versus Wings. Both Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers went off this game. They both had like over 20 points, I believe, for this game. And it was just like a real close game. neither team really got that double digit lead. Both teams were within range of each other. So it felt like at any point, if one team goes on a run, it was like if one team went on a run, the game's over. But it never got that. It never really got to that point. But going into the fourth quarter though, the Fever were down 66-63, and they would end up taking the lead in the fourth and like holding on to that lead to win 98-87. So like even then it was like they pulled away just enough to have a comfortable enough lead to end up winning. Now we've got preseason action. We've got Bucks versus Jets, right? And the Jets, they get out to a pretty good start. Take a 3-0 lead more than halfway through the first quarter. They took a 10-0 lead after Braylon Allen breaks off like this beautiful run, perfectly. It was a really good blocked play. So then that's happened late in the first quarter. Then going into the second quarter, the Bucks, they're driving on the field, and the Jets defender, like, he got there at the point of the ball, by both the Bucks receiver and the Jets defender had hands on the ball, and this defender just like ripped it out of him, and like a perfectly timed breakup prevented that touchdown. So the Bucks kick a field goal. They're down to 3, right? Then a shrimp po' boy. The Jets quarterback, I think it was Cade Klubnik at the time, or it was Cade Klubnik. He just throws a terrible throw. It's a fucking duck, and it gets picked off. And what's even worse is it goes to the house, to the crib, right? So right, another team really does anything. Bucks have the ball, right? But this time, there's a pick thrown because it goes right. No. Okay, so no. So the Bucks get that pick, and then there's another pick. I don't know how far after these two are, but there's another pick, and the ball literally goes right through the Jets receiver's hands, and it goes right into the Bucks dude. I'm like, but Bucks never really do anything. Jets try down the field, and as time expires, it's 13-10, right? So then Bucks, they go back and forth. They didn't really do anything. More than halfway through the third, there was a touchdown by the Bucks, right? They took like a bunch of time off the clock. No, that was in the fourth. So then the Jets, they get the ball. They drive on the field. They kick a field goal with maybe 5 minutes into the fourth, right? And then the Bucks get the ball. They take like a bunch of time off the clock. I'm talking like a good 5 to 6 minutes off this clock. They don't do anything, but the Jets never don't do anything either. And the Bucks end up winning 24-16. I thought it was a really entertaining game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the preseason because it gives me a chance to just see teams that not teams but see players that you normally wouldn't see in the regular season. So yeah. That's why I always liked it. Now we had three actually. We had 3 games. And it was Broncos versus Falcons, and this is pretty much a slaughter. It was an absolute slaughter by the Broncos. I don't know why I had a brain fart there. I was like, by the. Oh, ain't no way! Ain't no he's gonna score. Ain't no way he just scored. No. I'm watching preseason again right now. The Bears running back just broke up a massive touchdown. Dude, what? Like I was saying, though, this is just like an absolute Um, this was an absolute. Oh, it's a screenplay. Okay, perfectly blocked screenplay. Number 36 on the Bears. He gets the blocks, cuts it back. There was a couple of dudes that had a chance. Number 43 gets stiff armed. He says, "Get off me, get away from me, cuz." But no, the Broncos really just dominated this game. Cooper Rush, he got like he had like two picks in this game, and both were tipped. The first one, okay, that's not his fault, but the second one was absolutely his fault. I mean, like, why would you even? That's the kind of pass that you like. Why would you even throw that? Like, you see him there. Why would you do that? You know, it just seems kind of like it just seems stupid for you to like just throw that thing. Like, what made him do that? Anyways, though, Broncos really just dominate. Um, the Commanders versus Dolphins. I mean, like, outside of like the first half, uh, yeah, no, like outside like the first half where it's 17-7, it was pretty much a pump fest. I mean, both teams not really able to do much of anything. It was 17-7 and a half. Katron Allen, I was pretty impressed with him. Um, I was pretty impressed by Katron Allen. Pretty good game for the Commanders. Like I said, the second half was really just like was really just punt fest. So if you missed the game, I'll be honest with you, you ain't really missed much. You know, I'm gonna just say that. Now, what was it? Oh, now moving on to Mercury versus Sparks. Um, this was really like that Fever and Wings game where like they're just like it's just like real. It's like they're all just like it's just like the full game is like neither team is really able to get that separation to really like extend their lead. Because like yeah, they'll have a lead, but they're never actually able to extend that lead because whenever they score, the other team scores. And it was just like nothing like it was a really great game. It goes down to the wire with the Mercury winning 94-87, but like if you really think about it, like it was never really like a done deal until it hits triple zeros. I always find that for those to be the most in the games that I find to be the most entertaining is where it's like okay, you don't really know who's gonna win until that final whistle blows. You know what I mean? So I think this was a really good game. Moving on to baseball, we got Rangers and Angels. Rangers started off this with a bang. I mean, they hit a solo. Rangers got a solo home run in the first, right? Like the top of the first, within like the first out. I think they had like one out on the board when it happened. Um, then the Angels would come back in the third, bottom of the third. They would come back and they would send home three people. They would get three people to come get it. So they get 3 runs pretty much. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was trying to find a different way to say, oh, they knocked home 3 runs, but they knocked home 3 runs, and that was really enough to secure the win. Not the Bears, because I'm watching the Browns versus the Bears. The Rangers tack on another run in the top of the sixth, but they weren't really able to do much else after that, and they weren't really able to do much, and the Angels win. Um, Cincinnati versus Atlas. This is men's soccer, the MLS, the men's league soccer. This is a really good game by both teams. The first goal didn't come until like 43 minutes in, and I was kind of surprised by that because both teams were able to get into their like opponents into the like opponent's like goal range. So I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be a goal, and it just never ended up happening. Like, yeah, the goalies played good defense. So it was really only like a matter of time before a goal was scored, and finally, in the 43rd minute, the Cincinnati scored on like a goal from the left hand side, and he shot it all the way over to the right. But they never really would really score after. They never really scored after. They never not never really, but they never scored after that, right? And Atlas, they get 2 goals. They get 2 chip shot, kind of like chip shot goals, and they win 2-1. Now we got Fever and Liberty, right? First quarter, close game, right? The Fever are building up a bit of a lead, right? They ended the second up 29-23. The second quarter, and pretty much from then on, it was all Fever. Liberty never really had a chance to pass the second quarter. They did bring it down to within single digits in the third, but literally the Fever really were just able to easily get that back up to double digits, and they ended up winning 106-92. Mariners versus Yankees. This is a really good pitching game for the Yankees. Seattle did get on the on board first in the top of the 6th, even though the Yankees have been able to get more runs on, like, not more runs, but more people on base. Like, they were getting hits, they were getting people on base. It's just that they were never ever actually able to capitalize on the fact that, okay, yeah, they're getting singles. They got like a double at one point. They were getting on base, but it's the fact that they were never able to really get past that, and that's what really held them back for the majority of the game. But in the bottom of the 7th, Yankees take a lead on a 2 RBI single, and they would tack on another 2 RBIs, another 2 runs with another 2 RBI single, to take a 4-1 lead, and they would hold on to that lead to win, like I said, 4-1. Then, okay. Okay. Then we have the Sky and Storm, right? And this was a good game for the first quarter, right? For the first quarter, good game. First quarter is 22-60, right? Second quarter, Storm is in the lead and going to have 47-33, right? The thing I want to talk about is the fact that the Sky had multiple chances to bring the lead within single digits, right? Like, the lead would be like 12 or 10, right? Sky, multiple chances. They're getting stops on defense that the offense can't capitalize on nothing. So they never actually able to got that lead into single digits. But the third quarter, the Sky were able to bring the lead within single digits, even get the game to a 4-point lead at one point. They did end up going down by 8, 74-66 at going into the fourth, but it was the fact that they were building momentum. They were getting the game close, but and it kept going into the fourth. They kept the game close. They were able to get it to a 1-score game at one point. And think, okay, this looks like bad for the Storm, because the Sky, they seem like they got all the momentum. There's a 1-score game. They look like they're going to take the lead, and it just never happened. Yes, the Sky kept it close. Yes, they did, but they just were never actually able to take the lead, and the Storm ended up winning 97-88. Moving on, we've got the Brewers and the Padres. Brewers knock home a 2-run homer in the top of the second. Padres would then respond with their own solo homer in the bottom of the second. And no real scores up to the bottom of the seventh, where the Padres end up taking a 3-2 lead after a 2-run bomb, and they would hold on to that lead to win 3-2. Now, Phillies versus Cardinals. Phillies scored twice in the second, one off of an error, and then again in the fifth to go up 3-0. Right, the Cardinals would respond back an inning later with 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth off of a single. Then they would kind of go back and forth with runs. Phillies scored again in the top of the seventh. Phillies add on another 2 runs in the top of the eighth. Yeah, but the Cardinals win by rounding off 3 runs in the bottom of the eighth to win 6-5. All right. Then we had Dream and Tempo. Both teams had a close first quarter. Second half, though, Dream would really pull away and lead 54-39 at half. This is really just a case of the better team being just that much better and playing above their competition. This is really what it was. It was just more the same in the third and in the fourth. The Tempo did fight back in the fourth, but the Dream did have no problems bringing the lead right back up and end up winning 107-95. Like I said, this is really just a case of the much better team not playing down to their competition and playing above their competition. So Angel City versus Reign. This was a NWSL game. Really entertaining game. Angel City got on the board first in the 31st minute. 19 minutes later, Reign would respond back, and then the Reign would score again in the 52nd minute. But Angel City ties it up in the 71st minute. They go into extra time. Neither team is able to score. Like it's like a normal soccer game. Like yeah, they're getting into scoring range, but they're never able to actually capitalize on anything. And it ends up in a 2-2 tie. Moving on, we got the Astros versus Padres, and this was really just a domination by the Padres. But the Astros would strike first in the top of the second with a 2-run homer. And that was the only point they had scored the whole game. Padres will respond with their own solo shot homer. Padres would take a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the fourth off of a Fernando Tatis 3-run shot, and then they would take on another solo shot homer in the bottom of the sixth, and then add on another 2-run shot in the bottom of the eighth to win 7-2. That's just gotta be really disappointing. To start off the game to have a 2-run lead and then not be able to score. And I understand that baseball is like a game of it's a game of just like chance. You don't know where the ball is gonna go. You hit it as hard as you can and just hope that the ball goes where you want it to go. You really have I wouldn't say you really have no control. It's just really just a game of chance. You just hope that it goes to a place where it's not. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I had something and then I lost it. Moving on. Let's just move on. Valkyries versus Sparks. Valkyries would go out 29-15. It was pretty much the double-digit lead for the majority of the game going into the fourth quarter. It's a 64-47 game, right? All of a sudden, the Sparks they wake up. They got a jolt of energy. Would end up closing the deficit and making a close game. They're getting within 10, getting within single digits. They're in striking range, but they're not actually able to take the lead or anything like that. And the Valkyries end up winning 74-67. Aces versus Liberty. The Aces were just coming off of a game. We're just coming off of a game the day before. against the Fever. And so they were playing their backups, and the Liberty took full advantage of that. And I mean, my goodness, the Liberty just destroyed the Aces. 111-271. I mean, like, you could tell that it was just that these were some backups, man. I mean, my goodness. Anyways, Nationals versus Reds. Nationals lead 2-1 in the bottom of the third inning. It was just all Nationals from there. Nationals would add on a solo shot home run in the bottom of the third. They want to score again to the seventh, and they would add on another 3 runs in the eighth inning to win 7-1. Now, this is the game that I really want us to talk about. Last game that we're going to talk about here is Sky versus Fever. Fever got out to a big lead. They got off to a hot start, but the Sky got right back into it to make it close. Late in the first quarter, right? Dejanay Carrington, who up to that point had got off to a really good start, and they didn't need this. They didn't need it at all. Just because of how injury prone how injured their team was. She gets a flagrant 2 on Sophie Cunningham. Because as she was going for a chase on block, she smacks Sophie in the head, and obviously that's not checking out for a potential injury, all that, make sure she's good, flagrant 2, that kind of thing, right? But that doesn't really derail the Sky because they go up 23-22, but she's taking out the rest of the game, and they already don't have Sydney Taylor, who's been really good for them, really good rookie. They don't have Skylar Diggins-Smith, who is a really good offensive player for them, really great leader, a veteran. They don't got Rakea Jackson, who's an offensive threat and a defensive threat. So they're already down. So they can't afford to have another player go down, and that's what happened. And so the second quarter, keep it close, but around 4 minutes left in the second quarter, Fever will pull away and would end up leading double digits heading into the half, 53-42. Right? Fever would keep going with that momentum early on in the third, but the Sky would come back, cut the lead down, and bring it within single digits. But the Fever would bring it back up to double digits. But the Sky again would cut the lead down and going to the fourth, only down by 9, 71-62. Fever again would go up, would extend the lead, and go back up a double digits. But once again, as soon as that happens, the Sky come right back. They cut the lead right back down. They have within single digits. But the Fever just barely hold on, 92-86. And I'm not saying that Dejanay Carrington is the ultimate factor in this, but I do feel like that if she doesn't get ejected from the game, we're looking at a completely different situation. And like I said, they just did not have enough. They didn't have enough firepower. And this is a team that, because of how injured they are, they did not need another person off of the court, and that's what happened with Dejanay Carrington. And I think that, I'm not saying it would have changed anything, but I do think that her presence, not being on the floor, did kind of hurt them a little bit. But that's enough out of me. I'm Chase Owens. This is Ball. Really excited. I'll see y'all next time. I'll see y'all next Saturday. Peace.